predicted? As I see it, class warfare, the only resort to right wing doom? It's worth it. How to talk to your right wing relatives, friends, and neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning to the United States of America. Good morning to the entire world receiving our signals via the magic of El Internet, formerly known as ARPANET. Created by whom? Created by we the people. Created by we the people. Something that we have to work to maintain to ensure that we are not gobbled up by the billionaire class who now controls everything from, well, not everything. They don't control us. They control the mainstream media. They control the corporate structure. They control the government via themselves becoming the ward to the plutocracy. But hey, you know what? We are still hanging by a thread, a democracy, but we will prevail. Anyway, without further ado, let's go to the studio with our genius, el señor Jacques Van Bever and Mayana. Buenos dias, ¿cómo están?
Hey, how are you doing? I was just listening to you talk and I was just thinking, and they control you. Like, and I guess we're still hanging in by a thread. It's like, oh gosh.
Well, you know what?
It's like,
As long
oh.
as you're still, as long as you're still hanging in there, you're there.
Right. Hey, Jack.
Good morning, Mayana. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to start with the topics.
Yeah. Go for
Okay.
it.
Okay, so let's see. Topics covered on the show today. This episode confronts a stark truth about governance in America. Suffering is not accidental, it is policy. As Republicans, as Republican health care cuts threatens millions, ICE reveals the racial logic behind enforcement, while New York demonstrates that governance can still choose compassion. These stories expose who power protects, who it punishes, and what justice looks like when leaders decide to serve people instead of ideology.
Right on, Egberto. That's
What,
good.
talk to me, my man. I know you have a little something for us, brother Jack.
Yeah, I do. I got about a
Little
page
something.
here. Okay. The rhetoric since Reagan is big government is bad. The question is, who is it bad for? If the citizens of this country want single payer health care for all, they should have it. It's government's duty to care and protect the citizens from corporate exploitation. The corporations and the people pay a tax to spread the cost of health care to the people who work and the corporations who employ them. Question: would you rather pay a reasonable tax for health care or a high health care premium through private insurance? Why is it you pay for Medicare and can only access it when you're old? Why not pay a little more tax and have low cost health care for all instead of private insurance at an extortive rate that enriches only a few while exploiting the people? Let's make healthcare a right like it is in other developed countries. Stop listening to the lies and rhetoric from the corporate owned fascist government we have right now. Take back ownership of our government and get back to some compassionate policy for the people. We are the people. We should be very prevalent in government, and we, the people, should be running government by electing the right people in there and get the policies back to where they're reasonable and are not so predatory on the people.
And
You
I just want to
nailed it. Go ahead.
just something with what Jack was saying about, like, when we're the people that we vote for, a lot of times people are looking for wealthy people to vote for. And I don't know what it is. Like, they're looking for, Kennedys or, Bushes, like people who have done this, whatever, before and all this, and have all this experience. And I think that it's not just experience. I think because when you have a job, you have to learn the job a little bit, but at the same time, it's just the knowledge of what you want and
The
knowing
the
where
vision,
you're right, the
the vision.
vision, and learning how that comes about. Because you can't know the job until you do the job. You know what I
Man, I
mean?
love you guys. You know what you guys just did? One more time. You change how I'm gonna start this show, man.
Uh
You
oh.
change how I'm gonna start this show.
I'm
Damn,
bad.
you're bad. I had three solid topics, and now you said you came up with one that is more important than every single one that I had planned for this morning. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madre mía, esa gente te estoy diciendo, mira lo que me han hecho. And that was beautiful, guys. That was beautiful because I want to expand on what you guys just said because it is so, so important. Mayana, that piece about looking for the rich person, and of course, Jack coming down solid about something that Mamdami said, referencing Clinton's, the era of big government is over. There's a great tie in there. Madre mia, you guys are great. I'm going to touch on that, but before we get busy, I want to say this. Welcome aboard, Lisa Blair, Atlanta, Georgia, Harry Denson, Missouri City, Texas. Our beautiful Cheryl Elkins in Massachusetts. She's coming in from Massachusetts, and she came out to be on your side, Jack and Mayana. She said. You have to go with the flow, Egberto. Improvise. Well, my dear Cheryl Elkin, that's what I've got to do. You're absolutely right. Gayla Kunitz in from Gala, Georgia. We have LBW, La Profesora says, I'd rather my taxes go to pay for healthcare for people like me than for subsidies for the corporations where it goes right now. You nailed it. Marnie is representing Charleston, South Carolina. We have as well in the house John A. Davis, Gina Fulano, Mary Brommer says good morning from Colorado. We have JB in North Carolina. We also have Sandra in Wisconsin. Love folks we're represented all over coast to coast and the middle of the country. Everywhere, everywhere, every Laura. How you doing, Laura? Welcome aboard. Okay, here's what I want to hit on because Mandani said something when he was inaugurated. I listened to the entire. Well, you know what? John from Minneapolis is on the line. Let me take John, and then I'm gonna hit us up with Mayanas and Jack's story. Come on in, John from Minneapolis, line one.
Yeah, I'm going to make it really short. This is about Stephen Miller said, quote unquote, we have too much empathy in America. And I think in a way it defines this whole administration. They're into nasty theatrics and, bad is good and et cetera, et cetera. But I have something that people should, just for comic relief, they should look up Nosferatu. And I think it wasn't me. I mean, I've compared him to Nosferatu, but I think I had seen it. He looks exactly like Nosferatu. So maybe in the next life, I don't know, he might come back as Nosferatu. He looks like him. I just think to say there's too much empathy is just pure evil. That is right out of the playbook of the Nazis. I'm just appalled, and I'm appalled at what's going on here. But I think our mayor really became a statesman and said we don't need. Well, he used profanity, and I know this is radio. We don't need them here. Get the F out of here, and this is BS. So I'm going to leave it at that and let you go on with your show. That's the only comment.
Thank you so kindly, John. And yeah, you spoke. I mean, the mayor, Minneapolis mayor, handled it very well. I actually wrote a blog post for my
Hmm.
Substack on what the mayor did. That I really love what he did. In fact, I did the entire speech. But anyway, let me go ahead and get busy with this. Thank you so kindly, John, for listening in, and you have a wonderful rest of your day. Melissa Corrigan is in. How you doing, Melissa? She says, "Good morning. I'm listening in as I get ready, so I don't have to listen to NPR. Tell me the official state lights." How you doing, beautiful? Great to have you here. I was on a program with Melissa a couple of days ago, which I enjoyed dearly. Melissa is a great journalist, great former. She served her country. Thank you for your service, and she has a great son who she has reared so well. Thank you for that. I mean, we need so many more people like you. I want to get started, but we have Richard from the People's News on. So let's get Richard, and then I'll get started after Richard. Brother Richard, come on in.
Hey, Egberto, thank you. Appreciate all you do. I want
Thank.
to get this straight. So, Renee Nicole Good was a domestic parent. This is the right wing's take. The Trump chumps take on her. She is a domestic terrorist, they say, but yet Ashley Babbitt was a patriot. Yeah, right.
Wow.
They do have they do have one thing in common though. They'd both be alive today if it wasn't for Donald Trump.
Wow. Hey, Richard, we thought you were a different Richard, but let me just say this, Richard. Thank you for that. That is, I hope folks listen to what Richard just said. Two very profound messages. It shows you how trastornado the right is when Babbitt, who was knocking physically, breaking down a door to get into the halls of Congress to harm Congress people, she was physically banging the door. She got shot by an officer, a police protecting the house. She is a hero. But here this woman is running away from ICE. ICE blows a hole in her face, and she is a terror. Wow. And the thing about it is, if we weren't dealing with the lies and evil of Trump, they both would be alive. I when I tell you guys, I have the most insightful listeners. This is the kind of thinking I'm talking about. Thank you for that, Richard.
Yeah, this is the same Richard. I just got a cold. I don't think you can recognize my voice is off.
No, no, I know
But
which Richard you are. You're a
uh,
Richard that we met out there in Montgomery County at that event, right?
that's me. You got it. And did you
Okay, I
ever meet
got you. I know who you are. I have. Sometimes this memory works, man. Sometimes the memory works.
right?
Have a good one,
Well,
brother. Take
did wait a minute,
take
wait a
care.
minute. This.
Yeah,
You know Ash? Did you know Ashley Babbitt's husband, redneck white trash husband, got $5 million from the government after Trump was elected again? Did you know that?
I didn't realize
Five.
that that one probably slipped right over with all the crap that we hear.
Oh boy, they're
Well,
making a
thank you very.
mockery. But I know
Yeah,
you got to
it's a
go.
mockery. Thank you, Richard. Got to go. All right. Let me just say, first of all, thank you, Jack and Mayana, because this is something that I like to talk about. Whenever Democrats get into power, one of the things that they like to do is they like to become Republican light because they have the false belief that most Americans are seeking. They like to say we are a center right country. We are not a center right country. We are being told to be a center right country by our media, by our politicians, including establishment Democratic politicians. They try to force that moniker on us. Okay, but we're not. When you ask Americans what are the policies they want, it lines up perfectly with what progressive policies are. To put it bluntly, if you take a look at Mamadani's policy list and you take a look at what Americans say that they want, that is exactly what they say that they want. But here's the funny part about it. If you doubt it, look at the numbers under which, let's say, a Mamdani won or any other progressive who is articulate enough to really tell the message on fearlessly. That is what America wants. They generally say what they want. Elizabeth Warren, I did a blog. I met Elizabeth Warren at the Netroots convention I think this one was in Phoenix. And Elizabeth Warren gave a long speech and she gave the poll numbers of all the things that people say they want. And north of 60%, some 80% of the policies that they want or that of progressives. Okay, but when a lot of establishment Democrats get into power, many a times they curb. As a good example, when Obama was running, Obama ran on a decidedly progressive mantra. And if you also, I mean, progressive policies, if you take a look at his history, he came out in many times on the Senate floor in Illinois, and he spoke about wanting Medicare for all, access to health care for all these different things that are decidedly progressive. And you know what? People loved it. When he formed Obama for America, he formed an army. I am in Kingwood, Texas, a red area where there were Obama signs in decidedly Republican neighborhood and reformer and Republican people. I tell you, he went to the universities, and these university students went home and they spoke about this vision. And America bought it, including Republicans. Okay? I never forgot coming home after going to many Republican parties for Obama. And I'm telling you again, Republican parties in Kingwood, Texas, look up Kingwood, Texas, very red area in Kingwood, Texas, by Republicans for Barack Obama. That army that he built was huge, called Obama for America, OFA. As soon as he got into power, he was convinced, I think, by the former Chicago mayor that became his chief of staff, to can Obama for America. That would have been Obama's MAGA. That was much more powerful, much more numerous than MAGA. But he let it go. Had he kept that, he would not have needed to beg the neoliberal Democrats to vote for a health care program that was independent, that also had an independence from the private Stephen insurance companies. But we didn't. You know, he followed the same mantra to some extent that Blue Dog, Brother Clinton, brought into the fold. The era of big government is over. What the hell is big government? Please tell me, define big government for me. Let me just say, I believe in right-sized government. I'm sure all of you that are listening to me believe in right-sized government, meaning government that is big enough, government that is strong enough. And by the way, government is we the people. Government isn't some externality out there. Government is we the people. We want to ensure that we the people have more power than anything out there that is undemocratic. Okay? So this is now starting on Jack's theme here. Big government. We want right-sized government, which actually means that you have to have a big government that can ensure that there is no entity out there that can harm we the people. Because to assume or to hope that anything other than your government, you, we the people, has your best interests at hand is the indoctrination that has been pushed onto us from our inception. But not only that, but that has been metastasized through the advent of the Powell memo and all this conservative think tanks, meaning the Heritage Foundation, the Cato Institute, and all these other institutions that are there to fool you, to have you believe that somehow an undemocratic form of an economic system is good for you. You know, this morning I was reading the Washington Post editorial page, and I almost threw up the way that editorial page has changed. And it has changed because of who now owns the paper. Take a look at the editorial page. They're talking about things about people in blue states moving to red states, which is true, but without giving any context whatsoever as to why, right? Blue states are supporting red states. So how comes people in blue states are moving to red states? That's another story. But what I'm saying, I read that and I'm like, my God, where's the context? They were given no context. They just said, as an example, people are moving with their feet to people where there's high growth and low taxes. I'm like, oh my God, this page has become the propaganda engine of the right. Well, who owns it again? Oh my God. Yes, another billionaire. I think it's Jeff Bezos. So let me talk about that big government thing, folks. The Powell memo. The neoliberals, both neoliberal Republicans and neoliberal Democrats. Well, all Republicans are just about neoliberal, except for the extreme of MAGA, which actually intersects with the extreme of the left, but that's another story. If you take a look at corporations, corporations are it is the largest dictatorship one has, right? Because corporations are run for a purpose. And look, this isn't anything anti-corporation or anything like that. It's a form of our it is a member of our or it should just be one of the members of our economic system. Everybody is a dictator within their own right. Egberto is the dictator of Egberto. Uju is a dictator of Uju. Cheryl Elkins is a dictator of Cheryl Elkins. You decide what you want to do, and when you do it, you do it. You decide that. A corporation is a dictatorship. Why? Because it isn't governed by a democracy. The employees who work for that corporation does not go ahead and say, this is what we want to get done. We're going to vote on it and it gets done. The people who buy products from it, they can say, well, we are going to buy your product or not buy your product. But especially in monopolies, it really has no meaning. I mean, corporations do as they please, and we have ceded them even more power with Citizens United, the court law, Citizens United, McCutcheon, and others. We've ceded much of our power to corporations. We have told corporations that, hey, we want you in control more so than we are. And we do all of that because we are programmed, again, from the inception of our country, we are programmed to believe that somehow they know better. And this is where Mayana's point comes in, which is so damn important. When Mayana comes out and says, we are always looking for which rich person should we vote for? Should it be a Kennedy? Should it be a Bush? Should it be and just name it? And you wonder why. What inherent, we have the false belief that inherently a rich person, a wealthy person, there's something about them that makes them better than each of us. Right? And the question again is why? I wrote a paper a few years ago, actually like 12, 13 years ago, called We Need to Assert Our Worth. Because when you hear, I hear a lot of my right-wing friends and even some of my friends more in the middle say, well, we need the rich people because they create jobs. They are the job creators. And it blows my mind every time, right? Because you go to the top of these companies. Look at whatever company, electric car company. Let's look at Musk. Musk is the richest person in the world. Musk doesn't know how to program a computer. Musk doesn't know anything about triangulation. One of the things that his cars are dependent on and getting signals and making sure it can navigate appropriately. He knows nothing about the chemical reactions that make an electric battery work. He knows nothing about any of these things. A lot of other engineers, scientists, and all these other people who get paid one time for their job, right? They're the ones who innovate. They're the ones who come up with the way these things work. They're the ones that understand everything, right? Yet, the persons who profit from all of that are a few. In this case, Musk gets a chance to accumulate all of that on the back of all the work these other guys have done. And once that technology is there, it's there, and he makes money on it, and he makes money on it, and he makes money on it. And that worker, if he decides to fire him, is all gone. But that remains. That rich person that you are looking up to is a facade. It is a facade, because the persons that are rich in this country are all of you that are listening to me today. All of you are the ones that make this country run, make this economy run. You may have these wealthy guys happen to be directing, but if things break down and you're on an island, they can't survive. You can. So what makes them more worthy than you? It's the indoctrination that you received from birth of the natural order of how things are supposed to work. And that indoctrination is what creates prejudice, is what creates sexism, is what creates all these isms, because they create a false natural order to follow to benefit a few. Even from the inception of writing the Constitution, look at who the Constitution and how it was written in a fashion to prevent a particular group, a particular class. Going forward, I was a member of Move to Amend, where we created a documentary called Legalize Democracy. Look it up. Just look Legalize Democracy, egbertowillies.com, and you can see it's a 27-minute documentary. And one of the things that we showed in that documentary is that, yes, we started dubiously, but as time went on, we got better and better, and we got more freedoms, and we got more access, we got more, all these things we grew, we worked for, we fought for. What we're seeing right now is that we the people, have allowed they, the corporation, they, the elite, they, those who control the media and everything else, to slowly have us degenerate right back into that sort of a feudal state that we've been in. And when Mayana says we're looking for the next wealthy person to vote for, that is sort of a self-hate. That is sort of a, that person somehow, for some reason, is better than I am. When the reality, as every single person listening to me right now, no one here is better than the other. We all form that mosaic that allows what we have to exist. And the only ones that are parasitic in this entire system, and this is an attack on the wealthy, this is the wealthy as a class. The wealthy as a class are the ones who pretty much get by on the backs of everybody else. They are the ones that are taking the most out of society and providing the least into society. It's very hard to simply sit back and accept that because of how we were reared from the beginning. but that is where we are at. And it is something that unless we build that worth in ourselves, which is something that I beg and I try. Look, let me tell you, I give thanks to my parents every single day. My dead father that I love, that I still miss right now, and my mother. I remember we grew up on the canal zone in Panama when my father was able to get work on the canal zone. Everybody wanted to work for the Americans because the wages were better. And then we lived there. But at the same time, Panamanians were treated like third class citizens. Half the times we didn't even quite realize that. But I had a Chapalante father and a mother that all every day we left that house, remember, you are better than nobody else and nobody is better than you. Whatever you decide to do, you be the best at that thing. And that stuff was a focus that was hit in the top of my head every single day I came to the country. It was plastered, pasted in the psyche. That is where we have to ensure that everybody out there has that in your mind. You're better than nobody. But you know what? Nobody is better than you are. You are worthy. And remember, you are the one that builds, you are the one that creates. And as AI comes into the fold, more than ever, more than ever, we are going to have to make that assertion no. Let's go to Uju, línea número dos.
Hi, am I on?
Yes, you're on, Uju. Welcome to Politics Done Right.
Morning, morning. I was texting. I was about to comment in the Substack chat, but it's too much. I figured I'd just quickly jump in, say what I have to say, and then listen. I want everyone to remember that the oligarchs and Heather Cox Richardson said it best. They want freedom from government. We, the people, want freedom too. Okay, so they want to go unchecked. They want to do whatever they want to do, which is why they say no big government. When we say we want government, we want right-sized government, like you said, but we want freedom to live our best lives. We want freedom for liberty. We want freedom for to actually live the life with dignity. So I want everyone to remember that. Secondly, it's very duplicitous how we the masses have allowed corporations to go unchecked. Case in point, last night I have a national conference coming up in April. I'm thinking of going to it, and I go to try to see flights to to get to the conference. And all of a sudden now, Delta has an extra layer, so they already have basic economy, and they have they have main cabin plus, and now they have something called comfort basic. And I said, excuse me? It's like they keep on pushing the goalposts. Just when you think, they keep on telling you, oh, just work hard and you too can live the American dream. And everyone truly does believe that. But we don't realize that they have rigged the system. There is no American dream because they have taken it from us. They tell us to work hard. We work hard. We end up earning. And then guess what? Oh, everything now costs 3 times as much. Now, oh, by the way, you're no longer VIP, or you no longer attain VIP. There's a VVIP section. Think about it. There was TSA pre-check, right? And now there's Clear. And now there's Clear Plus. And I'm like, guys, the system is working as designed. The oligarchs, since the dawn of time, always knew that there were more of us than less of them. So what they would do is that they would occasionally allow a few people to feel like they're, have enough, just more than the next person, and then tell those people who made it in quotation, you know why you made it? Because you worked harder. Let's look down on everybody else. So I just want everyone to realize that the labor, the reason why these corporations actually are worth a darn is because of us. If we decided as a nation, which I know is very hard to do, to go on a national strike, I guarantee you they will not even last a week, hands down. So I want us to understand that we are our own saviors. No one is coming to save us. We have to start understanding that the system is working as designed. My last comment about what's happening in Minnesota, I've been screaming this at the roof of my lungs. The politicians in Minnesota, in my opinion, are failing their citizens. I don't understand why Tim Walz is sitting here asking for permission. He is the executive of his state. Because you are the executive of your state, you can ask for power to expand your state back. The mayor of Minneapolis sitting here throwing at bombs and no, they're all drunken. They know what needs to be done. They're not because they can call an emergency session. They can pass a law to state that when you are on state lines, not a federal building, you cannot wear a mask. And you wear a mask fully opposite. I truly believe the reason why none of this is doing what they need to do. And the law.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Right. Sorry. Those law enforcement officers who are supposed to report them are actually, they might realize that they are actually fascists and MAGA. And I don't think they're ready for the fallout of what's about to happen. I really believe that there's a whole lot of talking and not a lot of action. Same reason why Chuck Schumer could not bring himself to literally says he regrets voting for Marco Rubio. And then it was reported that there was a picture of him giving Marco Rubio a hug recently. So it's all, we the people have to understand that they are lying to our faces. And until we say enough is enough, which we haven't said it yet because we're still going through this, nothing is going to change. But that's my 2 cents. Everybody
Thank you.
have a great weekend.
Thank you so kindly, Uju. Very great comments. I want to add a little something to what she had to say when because she pointed out that the joke, or it's not the joke, but when they tell you work hard, and you think you've made it, and then suddenly they move the goalpost for you. She's exactly right. Let me give a simple thing that everybody can understand. You work hard, you build a home. Of course, your home, you have to pay your property taxes on your home every year, and that's fine. If it's a good rate property taxes, you kind of want that, but you pay property taxes on your home. But the person who owns stocks, which is an appreciable asset just like your home, doesn't pay property taxes. And not only that, we here in Texas, we voted to make it illegal for any future government to go ahead and say we can't even we while we tax our cars an asset, our home an appreciable asset, we can't tax the wealth, stocks and all these other instruments wealthy people have. So it hurts our economy. We are our own worst enemies. When it comes to your home again, we allow structures like things known as reverse mortgages. You build the wealth in your house, then they create another financial instrument called the reverse mortgage, and everything that you built, you you are enticed to take out and live the easy life instead of passing it down to others through coercion. And again, another way to take what you have earned away. And we can look at inflation right after Biden flooded the zone with money. The wealthy owner of corporations said, "Oh, there's a lot of money out there. How best to suck it up?" Inflation. The inflation was not created mostly because of shortages, which is the only reason to have inflation, really. Shortages are certain types of control. They created the inflation to suck the money out because they knew you had the money, and if they raised their prices, they could take it right back from you. Folks, we constantly get played, and we get played because, again, one, they depend on our ignorance. Two, they invest in our ignorance. If you know why are we having book bans and all these kinds of things, they need to have an uneducated population to continue doing this. That was the purpose of the Powell memo. Let's go to line number 1 with Senor Donald.
Hey, good morning. You need to watch Gangs of New York, the
Uh-huh.
Leonardo DiCaprio, through a different lens, and it will explain everything you're talking about. Just look
What is
at
it called?
certain aspects in that movie, Gangs of New York with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay.
There are certain aspects that let you know the true identity of the haves and the have-nots and how people are used and moved and imported and all that other good stuff. But
Thank you,
people need to
brother.
realize you, you are a whore, okay? I'm a whore. I'm going to tell you that right now. I go to the highest bidder. The corporation has no loyalty to me. I have loyalty. I'm supposed to have loyalty to them, but they'll shut the facility down in a heartbreak, in a
Amen.
heartbeat. It doesn't matter. Okay, so you have to go make the maximum amount of money for the 40 to 50 years that you work. You have to make sure that you plan, and they're going to change the rules the entire time. So if you needed $1 million, you saw it. You need 10 million by the time you retire because the way the compound interest works, you're gaining money, but they're devaluing the money.
Right.
Okay, and
Oh,
if
you
the cost of living raise, you got nothing. You're at the same place you were when you
you are
started. So
you
I'm
are
just
so
telling
right,
people,
Donald.
you got to start watching what they're doing to you. You cannot be worried about right, left, all this other garbage. And the sheeple that do these acts, there's a saying I got told a long time ago: the tail does not wag the dog. Okay, and I learned all this stuff the hard way. Ever since I went from parliamentary procedure to mock trials to real trials involving myself, this system is totally against anyone that does not conform. You can become indoctrinated or you can become educated. Go to
There
the
you go.
next tier, read the books they tell you to, go figure out how it came in. Because look at this. We're going to bring people halfway around the world, fly them over here, set them up in a business so we can peel the onion to get the money out. And then on one of them's hand is going to be a blood diamond that came from the same place they just came from, and they indoctrinated them to steal the money from them and make them the fall guy. It's horrible. It happens everywhere. That's why I said if you want programs, schools are in every neighborhood.
Donald, you're
Why
so right. I gotta go to the other call, but let me just tell you this. John Davis says Donald is so right, he's wrong. Hey, you've got a fan. Thank you, brother.
have a good one? Bye.
Take care, buddy. All right, let's go to brother Jimmy. Jimmy, my brother from Houston Peace and Justice Center. Talk to me.
Uh, Yesterday, the New York Times had a big article about Greenland. President Trump says we need it for national security. It's a part of Denmark now. And President Harry Truman in 1947 offered to buy it for $100 million. Anyway, we have one military base in Greenland now, and we have a treaty saying we can build as many military bases as we need to all over Greenland. So there's really no point in taking over Greenland. We already have the rights to the military up there, and that's all we could
You're
do,
I,
for national security.
that. I mean, you're so right, Jimmy. What irks me is the way this guy's coming across. Where is because we are powerful. If we say we need something for national security, then we take it. Suppose Mexico says that it needs a few miles north of the Rio Grande for their security, and they want to negotiate with America, but if America says no, they're going to take it. It won't happen. This is also silly. It's not even worth talking about right now. But well, actually, I should say that it is worth talking about, but it is so silly. It drives one crazy. But Jimmy got a bunch of
I,
calls, so I
I,
want to
would,
thank you. Go ahead. Did you want to say something else?
I would hate to think that Trump would take it by force. We don't
Yeah,
need to do that. We should not do that at all.
not at all. Not at all. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all that you do. All right, my brother.
Yeah. And one more thing, real quick. I was on a Zoom call last night with Kathy Courtney talking about Medicare for all,
She is
and I wonder
great.
if her program, when it's on the air and when people can call in, and several people knew about it already.
Yeah, I saw. I got the link. I got the link for the Zoom. I was just too busy to jump on the call, but I saw that you had the folks from the National Health Policy on. I mean, Physicians for National Health Care on with you guys last night.
Okay. Have a good
Have a
day.
great
Thank you
day.
very much.
Take care, Jimmy. All right, let's go to brother Augie. Augie, how you doing, my man?
Good morning. Well, when Richard said something about Stephen Miller having no empathy, he also forgot to say, but Miller, Trump, the Republican politicians, and the voters, they don't have any empathy, morality, humanity, or care for truth. And speaking of truth, reminded me of a 1950 show called Dragnet with Jack Webb. And on every show, when he was talking to somebody, he said just the facts. And that was also the rule for the media back then, for radio, TV, and newspapers. That is, say the facts and truth. If they got something wrong or lied, the next time they came out, they had to say, well, we got this wrong, and this is what the facts are. And I talked to a lot of right-wingers, and they miss Walter Cronkite and the news back then because it was facts and truth. But the Republican politicians changed it with the oligarchs could buy it, and not the opinions came in, which means lies, distortions, propaganda. And,
You know, let me stop you there a second because I heard something last night from Arturo Dominguez. He's a great Substacker, and he said that lies are free. In other words, on all the news networks, lies are free, while truth is behind the paywall. And what he meant by that is, if you go on everything that you can read for free on the internet, maybe it's true, maybe it's false. But if you want true reporting, all the big papers now, the ones that try to be truthful, are behind paywalls. Shame. That's why most of what I write, I want to make sure that it's out there for everybody to see, and just ask support. But so very important that what you just said, dear brother. Continue, Augie. Give me another 30 seconds, but I really need to move on.
well, after listening to your show yesterday and Democracy Now, I turned on MSN Now, and they showed a video that I haven't seen anywhere since then. That 37-year-old mother of three, she was out in the street to warn her neighbors. She had to whistle, and that's why she was out in the street. ICE was coming into her neighborhood, and that's the truck that stopped her. And on the video, it shows her sticking her hand out, telling them to move on so she can keep on going. They were blocking her way.
Yeah.
So she hand out, waving them to come on. The first vehicle comes on that's blocking her, but the second one, the big truck, doesn't. It stops. In fact, the guy that came to her driver's side window came out of that first vehicle, and so she's waving to that big truck. That big truck's not moving, and so then she decides to go around it, and that's when she got killed. She was out there
Yeah.
trying to warn her neighbors coming in. She had a
It's a
whistle
sh-
in there to warn them, and,
it's a
and
shame.
they murdered her.
If they murder her, thank you, Augie. Gotta go. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so
Thank you.
kindly. Let's go to Derek. Derek, come on in.
Hey, Alberto, I'd like to say thank you for always sharing the wisdom of your parents. But I can honestly say that in America children here are so very selfish and they are very spoiled. These are children who would kill their own parents and go around acting as though their parents done nothing for them. But let me move on from that. You know, brother, that ICE agent should have never been taken. Matter of fact, he should never have been put back out into the field. If he was drugged by another driver that had drugged him the first time, why is he back out there in the field? So it's kind of like every action will bring about another reaction. And my thing is that, you know, I heard what the caller was saying, talking about the Minnesota politicians, but ma'am, the Minnesota politicians did not start that. We got to get out of this torture in America, always blaming those who are in the effect phase of what takes place, but you sit back and give a pass to those who started it in the first place. No, we got to get out of that. And lastly, Donald Trump is doing something, and I'm not a Trump fan, never will be. But ain't it something, Alberto, that he's threatening now to bomb all of those cartels there in Mexico? Me personally, I think he's actually being used by a higher power, because there is a certain saying that Satan is casting out Satan. So it looks like if he getting rid of all of those that's like him, And then just keep in mind that when after he do that, then what makes him think that he's gonna be free to walk on? They gonna get rid of him too. So that's all I gotta say, brother.
Thank you, my brother. Let me. I just there are times that I like to say things when when we have sort of what I think is a misunderstanding and what someone else has said. I think Uju mentioned about the local politicians has more to do with look. We have to not just talk about certain things, but show action. Trump can be as wrong as he is, but he does something, and what she's saying is something that I say a whole lot, brother Derek, and that is I want I want to see these people trying to fight by doing something. They have the power to call special session. Yes, they shouldn't have to, but they have the power to do it. They what gives the people, the masses, what give the masses the impetus to go out there and do something and be a part of the fight as well is when they know that somebody else has their back and is fighting also. So I don't think you guys are speaking from different from different ultimate wanting to get to the same place. But I think what she's saying, we need to see more urgency from those that we've voted into power who know what is right. And with regards to the to the bombing of the drug cartel in Mexico, please call me and bring that subject up another day because I really want to discuss that one with you. All right, brother?
Yeah, and I just like to say, yeah, brother, I can see it that way, but that's my point, man.
I
It's
got
kind
it.
of like the law cause and effect. Thank you,
I
brother.
no, I got it. I got what you meant, my brother. You're. I got it. I got to go to Bobby Derek, but thank you so kindly for calling, brother. Let's go to Bobby. Wow, Bobby, give me. You only got about a minute, Bobby. Come on in. I'm sorry.
Okay, I think I can do it in a minute. I'll try. I hear you talking a lot about we the people. We all want a government that's buying of the people, but I feel like we are so far gone from that. And the reason I say that is because my mind always goes to the continuity of government. Say, if we were to have a nuclear war, and everybody, all of our citizens were just toasted, but the government officials and all the elites were to get into their bunkers underground, the United States still exists because the government is still there functioning. Now, if you reverse, so we could all we the people, we could all die, and the government, they are still functioning. Now, if you reverse that, and we, let's say, all have bunkers and got in, or some of the people survive, but all the politicians don't make it, the United States no longer exists. The government's been completely. You just have a few stranded, pockets of citizens here, and now so I just feel like all these secret societies. Like last year, I'd ask you, okay, well, if we the people elect our president and he can't go to the bases, who are those people that tell him which bases he can go and which ones are too sensitive for him to be on? There's people. The hand that
Hey,
controls the hand is so strong now
Bobby, you just
that
brought up an important subject, Bobby.
don't even
I got
matter.
to go, but you brought. I hear you. I want to invite you to call in a little earlier and let's talk about that because I have an answer, but it's too damn long. So let's talk about that another time. Okay? Thank you, brother. Let's go to
Okay.
Raymond. I'm sorry, I got to hold you to about 30 seconds, Raymond.
Okay, good morning. Thank you for taking my call. It's been a little while since I've even had a chance to listen to your show, but this morning you had excellent callers. Everyone had some great points. I wanted to reflect back on what Augie said. He brought up
Yeah, go ahead, Raymond. Can't hear you, Raymond. Raymond. Oh, what did we lose, Raymond? Studio.
He's still
Wow.
on, but I think something has gone wrong with his
Yes,
phone.
some Raymond. I tell you what, we lost you. I don't know what happened, and it's not on our side. We don't think. Please call tomorrow. This is all right. Call on Monday. This is a daily show, and I love to hear what you have to say. And thank you for the kudos for our callers. Like I said, I think we have the best damn listeners, bar none. Really into it. Welcome aboard. I don't think I saluted Lynette or Elaine Ambrose or Neurodivergent. Thank you all for being here as well as Ricker 78 and many others. Glenn Ryan, how you doing, my brother? Thank you. But anyway, let me throw it to the studio and then I'll close her out.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about the comment they made about Stephen Miller saying that people have too much empathy.
Hmm.
There's a study that was confirmed that when you have power, the more power that you get, the less empathy that you are able to have because you see yourself as different, more than, or above others.
Wow. I sure hope that study is wrong. I sure hope so.
Well, they've confirmed it because they've done it for you. So,
Yeah. Uh, I, I I don't like that kind of a thing. I think we should have more power than that. Anyway, I mean, we should have more power within our minds than that. So maybe it has. I wonder if that study also, there are these degrees of freedoms that studies take, and you have to be careful of the parameters that are used. I real hope that humanity is better than that. But let's go to
I'll send
Jack.
it to
Come
you.
on in, Jack. All right, thank you.
Hey, I'm going to respond to the empathy thing and what John from Minneapolis called. They're trying to
Real quick,
change the
Jack.
narrative. They're trying to change the narrative in people's minds that good is bad. Social programs for the people are. I'll have to get back on this one. I can't even remember all the words.
No problem. Hey, Jack. Jack, it happens to the best of us, brother. It happens to the best of us.
He
Okay.
had so much to say, he was probably just scribbling.
Yeah, I mean, when it happens, it's like, oh my God. You know what? What the heck? We're only humans. Anyway, folks, look, love you guys. Look, folks, today's show was supposed to be Ma'am Danny is actually getting the governor to sign for children care. It works. When you speak, it works. Ma'am Danny has already had his first success with bringing care to kids. Okay? Fight for what we want. That national strike that Uju talked about, that Melissa here says is the only thing that'll work. Fight for it. Likewise, you know how to reach me, kpft at politicsdoneright.com, kpft at politicsdoneright.com. The rest of the show is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Love you all. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out.